Imagine entering a room filled with noise, people talking on top of each other, voices clashing in all directions, chaos spilling into every corner. In this noisy room, there exists one person who is silent. She sits calmly, observing others, listening. And yet, strangely, it is this silent figure who commands the most respect. Why does silence speak louder than words? Marcus Aurelius, the ancient Roman philosopher king, once opined, "Silence is a lesson in itself. Speak only when it adds value." How often have we forgotten such simple wisdom? There is noise galore in this world today. Opinions have taken over the social media world. Arguments feature in most conversations, and within this cacophony, the risk of fooling ourselves creeps in to take away all our wisdom, self-control, and clarity of thought. Now, ask me, when was the last time you sat in silence and really listened to yourself, to others, to the world around you? Exploring with us. This video speaks on the potent and transformative qualities of silence. How Marcus Aurelius wrote that dominating words is almost exactly the same thing as mastering oneself. And on that note, to discover those potential dangers, finding strength found only by way of retraction. To illustrate practices for obtaining such wisdom on day-to-day existence. Ready to find that silences are a pretty big deal? Let's take this journey then. Silence is not the absence of words, it is the presence of thought. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. As one of the most venerated Stoic philosophers, he believed that silence wasn't just a virtue, it was a skill that allowed a person to rise above the noise of the world and connect with their inner wisdom. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Silence, in this context, is the tool we use to regain that power. Think about how often we speak without thinking. A sarcastic remark, a hasty comment, a defensive argument. These are all ways we let our tongues outrun our brains. And yet, every time we choose silence, we choose wisdom. We choose to pause, reflect, and respond rather than react. Why does silence feel so uncomfortable? In today's hyper-connected world, silence is rare. We are constantly bombarded by notifications, news, and opinions. If we're not speaking, we feel irrelevant. If we're not reacting, we feel powerless. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that silence is where true power lies. Silence allows us to 1. Observe without judgment, to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. 2. Listen objectively, really hearing and understanding and not assuming or projecting. 3. Wise action, acting out of reason rather than on whim. And this is the thing, silence is not something passive, but it's an action because it is the purposeful decision not to speak certain words that won't add any value. What does it mean to be stupid? According to Marcus Aurelius, in his writings, he often contrasted the wise man with the fool. The wise man speaks with purpose. The fool speaks with ego. The wise man seeks understanding. The fool seeks validation. Here's what you need to understand. Foolishness isn't just about ignorance, it's about arrogance. It's about thinking you have all the answers when you haven't even asked the right questions. How often do we see this in the modern world? People arguing over politics, relationships, careers, shouting their opinions without truly understanding the topic. The fool is loud, not because they know more, but because they fear silence. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the more we value the opinion of others, the less we value ourselves. When you speak just to impress, you betray your own wisdom. You trade your authenticity for approval. And that, my friends, is the greatest foolishness of all. Ask yourself this question: do your words add value, or do they simply fill the silence? Here's a secret. Restraint is not weakness, it's strength. The world will tell you to react, defend yourself, or fight back. But Marcus Aurelius says, wait, be still, listen. As quoted in his Meditations, if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Restraint is the mastery of one's emotions. And when that's mastered, you master your life. Here are 3 ways on how you can practice restraint. 1. Pause before speaking. Count to 5 before you say anything. Sometimes that pause is enough to prevent saying something you'll regret. 2. Listen. It's not just hearing words, but trying to understand them. Ask yourself, what is this person really trying to say? 3. Selective engagement. You don't need to fight over everything. Silence can be a powerful response. Remember this: restraint is not about being silent forever. It's about speaking only when your words carry weight. Let's look at real-life examples of people who embraced silence and changed their lives. 1. The story of Abraham Lincoln, who was popular for his restraint. He was known for short letters. If he felt anger, he used to write a letter to that person, but never mailed it. This helped him avoid real conflict and gave him the edge to stay focused. 2. The story of the samurai. In Japan, they used to teach the silent art of the samurai. They believed that a still mind is a sharp mind. Silence spoke for the inner strength. 3. Contemporary leaders. Name a Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. Their silence wasn't one of non-action. This was the silence of intent. He spoke only when his words could create action. These stories teach us one thing: silence is not the absence of power. It is the presence of control. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Silence is your road to wisdom. It is your shield against stupidity. It is your guide against self-destruction. So, next time you get the urge to speak, remind yourself, will my words add value? Will they bring clarity or confusion? Will they build bridges or burn them? Remember this: the most powerful voice is the one that speaks with purpose. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Thought. Let's embrace the wisdom of silence together and become the best versions of ourselves. Thanks for watching, and remember, be silent, be wise, be stoic.